The moment the clock reversed is best imagined not as a loud shattering of reality but as a soft, impossible shift that steals across the edges of perception. You sense it rather than see it, a tightening in the air, a quiet folding of events that once felt solid. A single second seems to hesitate, uncertain, as if it suddenly remembers an older rule. As this hesitation ripples outward, the ordinary world feels strangely rearranged. Footsteps land before muscles tighten, shadows stretch against the light, and distant echoes arrive ahead of their causes. The sensation is subtle yet deeply unsettling, like déjà vu blooming in reverse. You can almost hear the universe clearing its throat, reconsidering the direction it has insisted on since the first blaze of creation. In that suspended instant, fear and awe weave together. Something ancient inside you senses a boundary being crossed, a rule rewritten, a cosmic agreement renegotiated. Everything you have ever trusted about sequence and consequence wavers, as if time's spine has loosened. You wonder whether this is an ending disguised as a beginning, or a beginning quietly slipping backward into its own shadow. You search for anchors, but the familiar markers of past and future slip beneath your thoughts. A childhood memory flickers with unnatural clarity, almost as if it is approaching rather than receding. The present moment feels stretched thin, barely able to contain itself. Even your heartbeat seems to sway, unsure whether to drum forward or retreat into previous beats. It is here, in this trembling quiet, that the documentary's true inquiry begins. What is time when it no longer marches but hesitates? What happens when the cosmic current that has carried every atom, every life, every thought decides to slow, turn, or collapse inward? The reversal feels less like an event and more like a confession from the universe itself. You feel drawn deeper, compelled to understand how a seemingly fixed law could falter. The world around you offers no answers, only hints. A leaf drifting upward before falling, warmth gathering in places that should be cold, the faint taste of memory lingering before the moment that caused it. Reality appears to unwind, thread by invisible thread, revealing the machinery beneath. With each subtle reversal, the question grows heavier. Is this a local tremor or a universal shift? The sky seems to hold its breath, stars tightening their glow as though pulled toward their origins. Entire scenes unfold with a dreamlike precision, colors deepening, motion smoothing into something ghostly. Time is no longer a river but a wavering surface ready to fold inward. You realize you're standing at the threshold of a deeper story, one written not in seconds or hours but in cosmic patterns older than galaxies. The reversal is a messenger, warning that time is neither loyal nor stable. It can bend, fracture, even flee its responsibilities. This moment demands an explanation, yet every explanation seems to pull you further into wonder. For a heartbeat, you wonder if the universe is trying to communicate. Maybe this reversal is not a malfunction but a message encoded in the most fundamental dimension we know. The air feels charged with intention, as if time is nudging you toward a forgotten truth. You sense that understanding this moment will require stepping far beyond the comfort of ordinary physics. The atmosphere thickens with possibility. You picture the great cosmic clock that has guided stars, planets, and histories beginning to falter, gears grinding in directions they were never meant to turn. Every instinct warns you that something immense has shifted beneath existence itself. Yet beneath the fear, a spark of curiosity glows, asking what new understanding might rise from this collapse of order. As the world quivers between forward and backward, the tension builds. You're drawn into the question of whether time is simply changing direction or revealing a forgotten layer of itself. The moment feels like a door half open, light spilling through from a reality that runs counter to everything familiar. You know stepping through will change your understanding forever. Just before the shift settles, a whisper rises in your mind. What if this reversal isn't the anomaly but the original state of the cosmos? The question hangs in the air, electric and terrifying. The scene holds its breath as the universe edges toward its next motion. Whatever happens next will rewrite not only physics but the meaning of existence itself. The air trembles with the weight of an unseen decision, as if the universe is deciding whether to reveal its hidden architecture. You feel suspended between two eras of reality, neither belonging to the world you knew nor to the one approaching from behind. In this suspended twilight, every sensation sharpens. The light seems to pulse backward, the wind exhales before it fills your lungs, and for a moment you feel history curling toward its source. Somewhere within this drifting boundary between forward and reverse, a deeper intuition wakes inside you. It suggests that time has always been more flexible than you believed, a dimension capable of bending under the slightest cosmic influence. You sense ancient processes stirring, cycles older than stars groaning as they prepare to reverse. In this fragile pause, you recognize that the universe is not breaking but revealing its truest rhythm, a cadence beyond human expectation. And as the shift deepens, you feel time waiting for your witness. In the beginning, before time had a direction, the universe felt more like a whisper than a world. There were no moments, no sequences, no story for anything to follow. Everything existed in a kind of shimmering potential, a cosmic haze where nothing happened before anything else because before did not yet exist. It is an almost impossible scene to imagine, a universe alive with energy but silent in meaning, vibrant in possibilities yet completely lacking the rhythm that defines experience. This was a realm where events did not flow but simply existed side by side, waiting for the first hint of order. Picture a vast expanse of newborn particles, each glowing with unimaginable heat but lacking any sense of direction or sequence. They flicker not in time but in possibility, appearing as if suspended between existence and non-existence. In this early universe, moments do not stack, memories cannot form, and nothing can truly change because change requires motion through time. Instead, everything glimmers in a static ballet, every particle equal, every configuration of reality allowed. There is symmetry here, immense and perfect, like an untouched sheet of glass stretching across the cosmos. As you drift closer to this primordial stillness, you start to feel the weight of its perfection. It is a beauty almost too flawless to grasp, a state where the universe is pure potential energy without commitment. No past pulls at it. No future pushes it. Reality has not yet chosen a direction to grow. This symmetry is both breathtaking and unsettling, because symmetry on this scale means absolute silence. A universe without time is a universe without meaning. It is a dream that cannot be dreamed, a story that cannot be told. Inside this silent equilibrium, physical laws are present but dormant. They hover like instructions waiting for the first sentence to be written. Every possible configuration of matter is equally allowed, equally timeless, equally neutral. There is something haunting about a universe where nothing compels anything else to occur. Forces exist, but without time they cannot cause motion. Energy is everywhere, but without time it cannot flow. Entropy, the great storyteller, has not yet begun to whisper. All of existence feels like a held breath. In this vast stillness you can sense the tension building. The universe feels pregnant with possibility, its silence vibrating with barely contained power. Even though timelessness seems serene at first glance, there is a growing urgency beneath the calm, like the moment before lightning splits the sky. You begin to feel that symmetry is not a peaceful resting point but a threshold. Something immense is preparing to break. For the universe to become anything at all, symmetry must falter. Imagine floating through this newborn cosmos as its fabric fluctuates at unimaginable scales. Quantum jitters ripple across the void in every direction simultaneously. These fluctuations hint at the kind of restless creativity that will eventually give birth to stars, galaxies, and minds. Yet in this moment the fluctuations mean nothing because they do not unfold. They simply coexist. It is a universe where every possibility is true at once, and none can rise above the others. It is a masterpiece with no brushstrokes. Yet the stillness is deceiving. Beneath the illusion of perfect calm, the laws of physics are balancing on a razor's edge. Tiny irregularities begin to nudge at the symmetry. They are minuscule ripples, fragile distortions that lean one way or another, like the first faint tremor that precedes an avalanche. These fluctuations are the seeds of time's eventual direction, though nothing yet points forward or backward. The universe is waiting for the slightest imbalance to topple the scales. As you explore this frontier, you feel the growing pressure of a cosmic choice being made. The symmetry cannot hold. It is too perfect, too delicate, too unstable to last. Every quantum ripple threatens to break the stalemate, to force reality onto a path from which it will never return. Even though you cannot yet see the direction time will take, you can sense that the universe is leaning toward a destiny defined by change, motion, and flow. And then something astonishing happens, though it does not unfold like an event. It happens everywhere at once, in a moment that is not a moment. A subtle imperfection emerges, small beyond comprehension, yet powerful enough to shatter the stillness. The symmetry fractures. The cosmos tilts, and for the first time the idea of before and after becomes meaningful. Time selects a direction. The universe begins to move. The shift is like a spark racing down a fuse, illuminating everything it touches. Suddenly, fluctuations are no longer equal. They cascade into patterns, creating the foundations of everything that will ever exist. Forces begin to tug, energy begins to flow, and motion becomes possible. This is the first heartbeat of time, the instant when the cosmos stops being a silent possibility and becomes a living story. The timeless haze sharpens into structure. The universe exhales and the first thread of reality stretches forward. You can feel the change as vividly as watching dawn break on a world that never knew night or day. The stillness evaporates, replaced by a swelling sense of direction. The universe begins to stretch and expand, carrying with it the faint imprint of the imperfections that shattered its symmetry. These imperfections will become galaxies, stars, and the seeds of life, but in this moment they are simply ripples riding the first wave of time. Yet even now, as time begins to flow forward, a lingering mystery remains. Why did time choose this direction instead of the opposite? What forced the symmetry to break this way and not another? The universe offers no answer, only the evidence of its choice. A world that grows older, a future that expands outward, and a past that sinks behind us. But buried deep in the structure of reality is the echo of what came before, a faint memory of the moment when time had no arrow at all. As you watch this cosmic birth unfold, you can't help feeling the weight of the unanswered question. If time had no reason to move forward, then perhaps it has no obligation to keep doing so. Perhaps the arrow that began here, in this fragile fracture of symmetry, could one day turn back. The thought lingers in the air like a quiet warning, hinting that the direction we trust so deeply might be nothing more than a temporary preference of the universe. Entropy's first whisper did not arrive like a shout or a violent rupture. It drifted into the newborn universe like a faint, invisible breath, subtle enough to be missed yet powerful enough to define every future moment. At first, it felt like nothing more than a shift in texture, a barely perceptible roughness in the otherwise flawless symmetry. But beneath that softness lay a force waiting to sculpt everything that would ever exist. This was the quiet beginning of order dissolving into possibility, of potential collapsing into history. Entropy, the great conductor of cosmic evolution, had begun its slow, unstoppable work. Imagine the young universe as a vast, radiant ocean of energy, impossibly hot and overwhelmingly uniform. For a brief epoch, every point in space felt nearly identical to every other, as if creation had paused in a moment of extraordinary balance. But perfect symmetry is fragile, and the tiniest imperfections, those quantum ripples that once meant nothing, suddenly mattered. They became footholds for entropy to grasp. Small fluctuations blessed some regions with slightly more density and others with slightly less, creating the first microscopic differences that would eventually widen into galaxies and voids. Entropy thrives on imbalance, and these differences were its earliest playground. You can picture entropy emerging like an unseen artist moving through the molten canvas of the universe. It does not build shapes directly. Instead, it encourages the universe to follow its deepest tendencies, to shift from precise patterns into sprawling complexity. Hot regions cool. Dense regions expand. Tiny clumps attract more matter. Energy begins to spread. In this spreading lies entropy's signature, the natural pull toward states that are broader, looser, more statistically abundant. The cosmos, once pristine and uniform, starts to wrinkle, stretch, and differentiate. Entropy whispers a single rule into the heart of reality. What can happen, will, and it will do so in the direction of disorder. What makes entropy so eerie is that it acts without intention, yet everything it touches seems guided by purpose. Stars ignite because gravity tries to pull matter inward while entropy drives energy outward. Galaxies cluster because matter seeks stable arrangements even as disorder expands. Complexity unfolds because the universe is constantly trying to distribute energy as widely as possible. From these tensions comes the breathtaking beauty of cosmic structure. Yet beneath the beauty lies a quiet march toward decay, an irreversible drift away from the initial order. As entropy grows bolder, time begins to take on a clear direction. The universe is no longer a place where events simply coexist. Now processes unfold in sequences. Heat flows from hotter regions to colder ones. Energy disperses. Stars burn their fuel and collapse. Particles combine, break apart, recombine again. Each shift, each change, each transformation deepens the arrow of time. Entropy, without ever announcing itself, defines what forward means. It makes yesterday different from today and today different from tomorrow. It binds history to progression. This is why entropy is often called the engine of time. Without it, events could run backward just as easily as forward, and the universe would have no preferred direction. But because entropy always increases, the cosmos gains a sense of orientation. Forward becomes the direction of spreading energy, mixing systems, collapsing possibilities into probabilities. Forward becomes a pathway from structured moments into diffuse ones. In a way, the universe remembers its early simplicity by moving relentlessly away from it. Yet there is something almost melancholic in entropy's rise. You can sense it like a soft fading, as if the universe is constantly losing something precious while gaining something vast. Entropy allows structure to form, but it also ensures that every structure is temporary. Stars blaze into existence only to cool into embers. Organisms live long enough to evolve complexity but eventually return their energy to the environment. Even the universe itself drifts toward a future where motion slows, differences fade, and everything approaches a cold equilibrium. As entropy continues its silent work, it reveals itself not merely as a physical law but as a kind of narrative thread. It drives change. It shapes meaning. It gives the universe a sense of direction, not because it chooses a path but because it eliminates all alternatives. If entropy could speak, its voice would be soft but firm, whispering that nothing remains as it was, that order dissolves, that change is the one constant woven into the fabric of existence. But within this inevitability lies a paradox that grips scientists and philosophers alike. Entropy favors disorder, yet disorder allows complexity to bloom. This contradiction makes entropy feel almost alive. The more it spreads, the more it enables local pockets of structure to arise, like galaxies forming inside a universe tending toward uniformity. Even life itself is born from the interplay of increasing entropy and the local organization it permits. Something about entropy's whisper feels both destructive and creative, both fatal and fertile. Still, the most haunting aspect of entropy is what it implies about time. If entropy defines the arrow, then time itself is a byproduct of decay. Time flows forward not because the universe commands it to, but because entropy leads it there. This raises unsettling questions. If entropy were somehow reversed, if energy flowed inward, if disorder decreased, would time reverse too? Would events unfold backward, memories dissolve and causes follow their effects? Or is entropy merely a shadow cast by deeper laws we have yet to decipher? The more you contemplate entropy's first whisper, the more it becomes clear that this quiet force shapes every second you have ever experienced. It is the reason memories belong to the past and not the future. It is the reason broken cups do not reassemble themselves, why smoke does not gather back into logs, why life ages. Entropy is the hidden sculptor behind every irreversible moment. And yet, buried in the earliest moments of the universe is an unanswered riddle. Why was entropy ever low to begin with? Why did the universe start in such an exquisitely ordered state that its unraveling could define billions of years of cosmic evolution? This question glows like an ember beneath all of physics. If entropy had not whispered in that early cosmic silence, time might never have begun its forward march. And if entropy could one day whisper differently, perhaps time could change its direction again. The thermal abyss began as a silent drama stitched into the young universe, a contrast so subtle that nothing conscious could have sensed it, yet so powerful that it would one day command the fate of galaxies, stars, planets, and every living thing. In the newborn cosmos, heat was everywhere, thick and blinding like the glow of molten metal, but it was not spread perfectly. Tiny temperature imbalances flickered like small bruises on creation's skin. These delicate gradients formed the first hints of direction, revealing where energy would rush, where it would stall, and where the first cosmic structures would begin their slow rise from the haze. As the universe expanded, these temperature differences deepened, stretching themselves across unimaginable distances. In one region, heat pooled like a cosmic furnace. In another, it thinned like a dying ember. The tension between these extremes created a kind of invisible slope that every particle, photon, and fluctuation instinctively followed. Where heat was high, motion was wild. Where heat was low, silence settled like frost. This uneven distribution carved a path through chaos, guiding energy outward in waves that sculpted the first meaningful patterns in space. Heat always seeks to escape its confinement, and in the young universe it rushed from hotter areas into colder voids with a kind of fierce determination. You can picture this motion like a tide pulled by a gravitational moon, except the tide was made of pure energy and the moon was the frigid emptiness of space. Every stream of heat carried information about where the universe had been and where it was heading. These flows became the universe's earliest clock, ticking with each transfer, marking time not with hours or seconds but with the constant balancing act of temperature. Within this vast thermal imbalance, entropy found its greatest ally. Every movement of heat increased disorder, pushing the universe farther from its original symmetry and closer to the sprawling cosmic diversity we know. Yet the process was not chaotic in the trivial sense. It had a hidden structure, a direction defined by nature itself. Hot to cold, dense to sparse. ordered to disordered. Each of these motions planted another seed in the growing arrow of time. The more energy flowed, the stronger that arrow became, until the cosmos could no longer imagine unfolding in any direction but forward. Yet the thermal abyss was not merely a physical phenomenon. It was the emotional core of the universe's early drama. Imagine being suspended within a region of intense heat, where particles crash like furious waves, then drifting slowly outward into a colder realm where motion slows into a whisper. The contrast is overwhelming. It feels like crossing from the heart of a storm into a dead calm. And this brutal contrast repeats endlessly across the infant universe, painting reality with floods of fire and islands of ice. The boundary between these extremes becomes a battleground where the laws of thermodynamics declare their dominance. What makes the thermal abyss so fascinating is that it shaped not only the universe's structure but its meaning. Every star that would ignite millions of years later, every black hole that would collapse under its own weight, every chemical bond in every living organism, all of it traces its origin back to these early temperature gradients. Without these imbalances, the universe would have remained a perfectly smooth sea of energy, beautiful in theory but barren in outcome. It was the presence of unevenness, of depth and height in the landscape of heat, that made evolution possible. Out of imbalance came creation. The abyss also invites a haunting question. What if these gradients had been different? What if the early universe had cooled more evenly or more violently, or in a pattern that prevented the spread of complexity? We tend to imagine the universe as inevitable, but in truth it was precariously balanced. The thermal abyss was a razor's edge. A slight shift could have erased the conditions necessary for stars to form or prevented matter from clumping together at all. The forward march of time might never have gained its strength. The cosmos might have remained a dim haze, silent and directionless. In this sense, the thermal abyss was the universe's first great decision point. It represented both opportunity and risk, a place where the cosmos flirted with chaos yet managed to extract order from the imbalance. We often think of time as a fixed rule, but here we see its roots in something far more delicate. Time flows forward because heat flows from hot to cold. It is a simple principle, almost childlike in its clarity. Yet it defines the entire story of existence. Without this gradient, without heat cascading into emptiness, nothing would have moved, grown, or changed. Time would have had no anchor. As you move deeper into this narrative, the abyss begins to feel less like a physical phenomenon and more like an ancient memory the universe carries within itself. Every star's glow is a tribute to that first imbalance. Every planet's warmth echoes the early thermal struggle. Even your body, fevered with biological heat, participates in the same ancient transaction. Energy dispersing, entropy rising, time marching forward. You are, in a very real way, a living extension of the thermal abyss, shaped by the same gradients that sculpted galaxies. And yet, there is one more layer to this story, one that lingers like a shadow behind every scientific explanation. If heat flow created the arrow of time, what would happen if heat could be forced to flow backward? Could the arrow flip? Could the universe rewind itself, unspooling the patterns entropy once built? The question hangs in the cold space between stars, unanswered, waiting for the bold or the reckless to chase it. The universe has always whispered secrets in the language of time, yet we, trapped in our linear perception, have struggled to decipher them. Imagine standing on the edge of existence, where the cosmos itself seems to breathe, stretching and contracting in rhythms far beyond human comprehension. This is the moment when we begin to confront a radical idea. What if time as we know it is not a constant arrow pointing forward? What if the familiar tick-tock of clocks, the steady march of seconds, is merely a thin veil over a far stranger reality? Scientists, philosophers, and mystics alike have wrestled with this unsettling thought, asking questions that challenge the very foundation of causality. Could it be that time once flowed backward, counting down from a cosmic zenith toward the void we now inhabit? To explore this, we must first abandon the comforting notion that time is absolute. In the halls of theoretical physics, equations speak of a universe where the past and future are not rigidly fixed, but fluid, interwoven, and sometimes reversible. The entropy that governs the second law of thermodynamics, the relentless spread of disorder, might not be a one-way path. In certain extreme conditions, moments near the birth of the universe or within the enigmatic folds of black holes, the flow of time could bend, twist, or even reverse entirely. Picture a cosmic river whose currents suddenly shift direction, carrying galaxies and stars in a silent, invisible dance backward toward their origins. It is a spectacle that challenges every instinct, every intuition humanity has ever held about reality. Yet, this is more than an abstract theory. The implications ripple through our understanding of existence itself. If time can run backward, then cause and effect, those pillars of rational thought, become mutable. Events we consider fixed could, in theory, be unmade or reconfigured. Memories, histories, even the very structure of consciousness could be influenced by these reversed currents. Imagine a moment where yesterday is not the sum of choices already made, but a possibility awaiting realization. The boundary between what has happened and what might yet occur blurs, leaving us suspended in a universe where the arrow of time is not a weapon but a question, a riddle carved into the fabric of spacetime itself. This concept, as daunting as it seems, is not without observational hints. Astrophysicists studying the earliest moments after the Big Bang detect phenomena that appear to defy ordinary causality. Quantum fluctuations, tiny blips of energy and matter, behave in ways that suggest time's direction is not as straightforward as it appears. Particles seem to influence one another retroactively, a phenomenon that Albert Einstein once referred to as spooky action at a distance. The cosmos, in its infancy, may have danced to a rhythm entirely alien to our senses, a rhythm where the future whispered into the past, and the present was merely a thin, shimmering membrane between the two. Human imagination has long sensed this hidden complexity. Myths and philosophies across cultures hint at cyclical or reversible time. The Ouroboros devouring its tail, the Hindu concept of kalpas, and the Stoic idea of eternal return. These symbolic frameworks, while poetic, may contain kernels of insight into a universe that does not adhere to simple linear progression. The backward counting of cosmic time may be the scientific echo of ancient intuitions, a bridge between our timeless yearning to understand and the empirical rigor of modern physics. There is something profoundly humbling in realizing that our most advanced theories of time may converge with the poetic imagination of our ancestors, as if the cosmos itself communicates through both mathematics and metaphor. The narrative becomes even more compelling when we consider the human experience of time. Every life is a succession of moments, each layered upon the last, each colored by memory and expectation. But what if those layers are not strictly sequential? What if, in the hidden folds of reality, our personal timelines could be influenced by universal currents running backward? Philosophers have long speculated that free will, destiny, and even mortality are intertwined with time's direction. In a universe where time can reverse, the boundaries of human agency expand dramatically. Every choice, every action might not be a point on a straight path, but a node in a vast, malleable network of cause and consequence, stretching outward in both directions, forwards and backward. In practical terms, these ideas are not just intellectual curiosities, they demand a re-evaluation of the laws we hold sacred. The reversibility of time challenges thermodynamics, cosmology, and even information theory. If entropy can decrease even briefly in localized regions, then the universe is not a one-way march toward heat death but a dynamic, complex system capable of self-renewal, oscillation, and profound surprise. Imagine the possibility that the end is not the end at all, but a prelude to a new beginning, where the narrative of existence is not written once but continuously rewritten by the subtle interplay of time's hidden currents. Yet with this vision comes awe and fear in equal measure. The beauty of a universe where time flows backward is matched by its terrifying unpredictability. Stability, causality, and security, all the frameworks upon which we build our understanding of reality, become fragile. We are invited to peer into the abyss of cosmic uncertainty, where certainty dissolves and imagination becomes an essential tool for survival. It is a confrontation with the sublime, the simultaneous majesty and peril of a reality that is far stranger, far more intricate, than our ordinary minds can easily grasp. As we prepare to journey deeper, we must hold on to two threads: curiosity and humility. Curiosity drives us to ask the daring questions, to probe the frontiers of knowledge where logic falters and mystery thrives. Humility reminds us that the universe is vast beyond measure, and time itself may not conform to the neat rules of our experience. The path ahead leads into territories where science, philosophy, and human imagination converge, where every revelation brings new enigmas, and where the backward counting of time may ultimately illuminate the deepest truths of existence. Here, on this threshold, we encounter the true wonder of the cosmos, a realm where beginnings and endings intertwine, where past and future dance together in a silent, eternal symphony, and where the act of observing itself may shape the unfolding of reality. As we step further into the enigmatic flow of time, we begin to confront a question that has haunted thinkers for centuries. What does it truly mean for time to reverse? To imagine a backward-counting universe is to challenge every instinct we have about progression, growth, and decay. Picture a star, blazing in the night sky, gradually collapsing into the very state from which it was born, retracing its life in reverse. Imagine rivers that unspill, mountains that rise back from rubble, civilizations unbuilding themselves with each passing moment. It is a vision simultaneously beautiful and terrifying, a cosmic ballet that defies the order we take for granted. In this section we examine the mechanisms and theories that suggest time's arrow might not be fixed, but reversible, and how this challenges not only physics but the human perception of reality. The seeds of this idea lie in the quantum realm, where particles behave in ways that defy classical intuition. Experiments reveal phenomena where the distinction between cause and effect blurs, where an event in the present can influence something in the past. Entangled particles, separated by vast distances, appear to communicate instantaneously, as if ignoring the constraints of linear time. This spooky action at a distance, as Einstein famously described it, hints at a universe far more intricate than our senses can perceive. Could it be that the microscopic world, with its strange and counterintuitive rules, mirrors a larger cosmic pattern, a time flowing backward in hidden dimensions unseen but profoundly real? Consider the nature of entropy, the measure of disorder in a system, long thought to define the forward march of time. In our everyday experience, entropy increases. Ice melts, stars burn, civilizations age. Yet, under extreme conditions, within the cores of collapsing stars, or perhaps in the first milliseconds after the Big Bang, the rules may differ. Here the universe might be capable of reversing its path, reassembling order from chaos. Imagine a cosmic clock running backward, where events unfold in reverse but are no less meaningful or complex. Such a reversal does not merely challenge physics. It destabilizes the psychological and philosophical foundations on which humanity relies. If order can emerge from what seems like inevitable decay, what does that say about the fragility of our own perception of reality? This perspective is not purely theoretical. Cosmologists studying the early universe have observed phenomena that strain the limits of our conventional understanding. Tiny quantum fluctuations, imperceptible in our daily experience, acted as seeds for galaxies, influencing the structure of the cosmos in ways that sometimes appear retroactive. The universe's infancy may have been a time when cause and effect were not rigid, but fluid, an ocean of potentialities in which the direction of time itself was negotiable. It is here, in this primordial chaos, that the idea of backward-counting time gains its most compelling evidence. We glimpse a universe not as a straight line from past to future, but as a multidimensional tapestry where threads of events can loop, fold, and even rewind. The philosophical implications of this are equally profound. Human life, bounded by birth and death, is inseparable from the perception of time as linear. We anchor meaning in sequences. We learn from past mistakes, anticipate future possibilities, and construct narratives that give coherence to our lives. But in a universe where time might reverse, the very notion of linear progression becomes suspect. Choices could reverberate backward, shaping the past as surely as the future. History may not be a fixed record but a living, malleable construct. The consequences of actions, the unfolding of events, could be far more dynamic and interdependent than our linear minds can easily comprehend. In such a framework, free will and destiny are not opposing forces but intertwined aspects of a deeper, temporal complexity. Myth and storytelling have long reflected this awareness, perhaps even before science could articulate it. Across cultures we find cycles, repetitions, and reversals embedded in narratives of creation and destruction. The Ouroboros, the serpent devouring its tail, symbolizes eternal return. Hindu and Buddhist cosmology speak of time as cyclical rather than linear. Could these archetypal symbols reflect an intuitive grasp of the universe's temporal flexibility? If so, science and myth converge. The cosmos reveals its patterns both through equations and allegories, through experiments and dreams. The backward counting of time, once dismissed as fantasy, may resonate with the deepest human intuitions about existence itself. Yet, this vision is not merely abstract or contemplative. It carries a visceral, almost cinematic intensity. Picture a civilization witnessing its own history unfolding in reverse. Monuments rising from ruins, rivers flowing uphill, lives unspooling in mirror images of their former trajectories. The imagery is both awe-inspiring and disconcerting. It forces a confrontation with the limits of understanding, with the fragility of perception. The universe, in its mysterious rhythms, challenges the arrogance of certainty. Time, the invisible frame upon which all events are painted, is not the rigid scaffold we imagine. but a fluid medium, capable of reversing, folding, and reshaping itself. The emotional resonance of such a reality cannot be understated. Awe, fear, wonder. These are not mere reactions but essential responses to confronting a universe that is stranger, more dynamic, and more profound than human intuition allows. The possibility of backward-counting time invites us to reconsider our place in the cosmos. Observers, participants, and perhaps even co-creators in a temporal dance that transcends conventional understanding. It forces humility and curiosity to coexist, driving exploration while tempering certainty. The cosmos, in all its vastness, does not answer our questions politely. It teases, challenges, and inspires us to stretch our minds beyond the familiar. As this section draws to a close, we stand on the threshold of even deeper mysteries. Time's reversibility is not merely a theoretical curiosity. It is a lens through which the universe's most profound questions come into focus. How did the cosmos begin? What forces govern the unfolding of events? And, most provocatively, what is the role of consciousness in this strange temporal landscape? In the coming sections we will trace these questions further, examining the interplay between physics, philosophy, and human perception, and venturing into the very heart of a universe where past and future may be far more intertwined than we ever dared to imagine. The journey has only begun, and the backward counting of time beckons us to confront not just the cosmos, but the deepest truths of our own existence. In the shadow of backward counting time, we encounter a paradox that has puzzled scientists and philosophers alike. If time can reverse, what happens to memory, perception, and consciousness itself? Our experience of reality is inseparable from the flow of time. Every thought, every emotion, every memory is anchored in the forward progression of seconds and minutes. Yet in a universe where the arrow of time may bend or even rewind, these anchors are thrown into question. Imagine standing in a moment where memories are not fixed, where yesterday is not a static archive but a shifting, malleable landscape. The mind, in such a realm, is forced to navigate an existence where the familiar sequence of cause and effect no longer applies, where the past may be rewritten by the currents of a reversed temporal flow. This is the unsettling frontier of understanding we must now explore. At the microscopic level, the quantum world already demonstrates that time is not as absolute as it appears. Particles seem to exist in multiple states simultaneously, and the act of observation collapses potentiality into reality. But more intriguingly, certain quantum phenomena suggest retrocausality, an effect influencing its cause, a subtle backward ripple in the fabric of time. The implications of this are staggering. If the smallest constituents of reality can defy linear time, might the universe on a grand scale exhibit similar behavior? Could galaxies, stars, and even the flow of events in our own lives be subtly influenced by a hidden temporal current running in reverse? In imagining this, we confront the possibility that the very notion of a fixed past is an illusion, that reality itself may be far more fluid than our senses allow. The macroscopic universe also offers glimpses into this strange possibility. Black holes, with their immense gravitational pull, distort spacetime to extreme degrees. Theorists have long speculated that within these cosmic maelstrom, conventional laws of cause and effect might break down, allowing for phenomena where time behaves in ways we cannot directly perceive. In these extreme environments, the fabric of reality itself is malleable. Past and future become entangled, folding into each other in an intricate cosmic dance. To imagine being near such a force is to confront a vision both terrifying and sublime. A universe where beginnings and endings are not distinct, but interwoven threads in a tapestry that stretches across dimensions beyond human comprehension. The psychological ramifications of backward counting time are equally profound. Humans construct identity, meaning, and purpose based on the continuity of experience. Our memories form a narrative, linking past actions to present consequences and future intentions. But if time can reverse, even partially, these narratives are destabilized. Memories may no longer be fixed points but dynamic echoes, influenced by events yet to occur or currents flowing backward from the future. This challenges not only our understanding of self but also the very basis of moral and ethical reasoning. Accountability, causality, and choice, all foundational concepts, become fluid, inviting a re-evaluation of how we perceive life and existence. In this light, the study of backward counting time is not mere intellectual curiosity. It is a journey into the deepest structures of consciousness and experience. Philosophers have long grappled with similar questions, albeit through metaphor and reflection rather than equations. Ancient traditions often depicted time as cyclical, a serpent devouring its tail, endlessly returning upon itself. Such imagery may not be merely poetic but reflective of an intuitive grasp of temporal flexibility. If the universe can bend and reverse its arrow, then human wisdom, art, and myth may capture these truths in ways science is only now beginning to quantify. In exploring backward counting time, we bridge the gap between rigorous physics and the human imagination, finding resonance in both the equations of theoretical models and the allegories of ancient storytellers. This convergence suggests that the mysteries of time are not only external phenomena but internal ones, mirrored in the architecture of the human mind itself. Yet with these revelations comes profound tension. The backward flow of time evokes both wonder and fear, a duality that is central to the cinematic experience of the cosmos. On one hand, the possibility of reversing events opens doors to unparalleled understanding, perhaps even mastery over processes previously thought immutable. On the other hand, it confronts us with instability and unpredictability on scales unimaginable, reminding us of our fragility and the limits of perception. The universe, in its boundless complexity, offers no guarantees. It is both playground and crucible, beauty and terror intertwined. In acknowledging this duality, we begin to appreciate the emotional landscape that accompanies scientific exploration, the thrill of revelation tempered by the humility of uncertainty. The potential for backward counting time also has practical implications in physics and cosmology. If entropy, the measure of disorder in the universe, can decrease in specific contexts, then the universe may be capable of localized reversals of order and chaos. This challenges conventional expectations of cosmic evolution and may offer insights into phenomena such as the early universe's rapid expansion, the formation of structure, and the nature of black holes. By studying these conditions, scientists hope to uncover not only the mechanics of temporal reversal but also the broader principles governing the universe's evolution. Here, science is not merely descriptive but exploratory, pushing the boundaries of what we consider possible and inviting us to rethink our assumptions about time, matter, and reality itself. As we contemplate these ideas, the cinematic imagery becomes irresistible. Picture a world where the familiar flow of events bends backward. Rivers reclaim their sources, cities reconstruct themselves from ruins, and human lives play out in reverse, unraveling and then reweaving into new patterns. The scene is both awe-inspiring and disorienting, challenging the observer to reconcile beauty with the incomprehensible. It is a vision that embodies the essence of backward counting time. A universe at once structured and fluid, predictable and unpredictable, terrifying and sublime. By embracing this complexity, we cultivate not only understanding but also a sense of wonder, a recognition that the cosmos is far more intricate and profound than our daily perceptions allow. In conclusion, Section 7 invites us to linger in the paradox of backward time, to confront its implications for consciousness, physics, and human understanding. It challenges linear assumptions, stretches the imagination, and evokes emotional responses ranging from awe to existential unease. The journey through this section is not merely academic, it is experiential, encouraging viewers to feel the tension, the beauty, and the mystery of a universe where time may be both arrow and circle, both flowing forward and backward. By the end, we are primed to delve even deeper, ready to explore the subsequent sections that will further unravel the cosmic tapestry, revealing how the backward counting of time shapes the very structure of reality and our place within it. As we descend deeper into the enigma of backward counting time, we must confront the nature of causality itself. In our ordinary experience, events unfold in a predictable sequence. One moment leads inexorably to the next. A stone falls, a tree grows, a life is lived. This forward momentum is the bedrock of understanding, the scaffolding upon which physics, philosophy, and human perception rest. But in a universe where time may reverse, these assumptions unravel. Cause and effect, once steadfast pillars of reality, become malleable, reversible, and uncertain. Imagine a world where the outcome of an event reaches backward, shaping its own inception. The familiar landscape of logic and consequence gives way to a terrain at once beautiful, chaotic, and profoundly unsettling. Quantum mechanics provides the first hints that such a universe is not mere fantasy. Experiments reveal that particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously and that observation can influence outcomes in ways that seem retroactive. Entangled particles, separated by immense distances, appear to communicate instantly, their fates intertwined as though the future whispers into the past. In this microscopic dance, the linearity of time dissolves. If these behaviors manifest in the smallest building blocks of reality, might they echo across the cosmic scale? Could galaxies, stars, and even the flow of events in our lives be subtly shaped by hidden temporal currents running backward? This realization challenges not only scientific understanding but the very fabric of human intuition, forcing a confrontation with a universe far stranger than we can easily imagine. The implications extend to the evolution of the cosmos itself. In the first instance after the Big Bang, the universe existed in a state of extreme density and energy, a singularity where conventional rules broke down. Some theorists propose that within this primordial chaos, the direction of time was not fixed but fluid. Moments may have looped, folded, or even counted backward, creating conditions from which the cosmos eventually emerged. This vision transforms the familiar narrative of cosmic evolution. The universe is not a straight arrow from beginning to end but a multidimensional web of possibilities, in which past and future are intertwined in ways that defy ordinary perception. It is a picture both awe-inspiring and humbling, demanding that we rethink the origin and trajectory of everything we know. Philosophical reflections resonate with this scientific perspective. Across cultures and eras, humans have envisioned time as cyclical or reversible. The Ouroboros, the serpent devouring its own tail, symbolizes eternal return. The Stoics imagine the cosmos repeating endlessly. Eastern philosophies describe kalpas, vast cycles of creation and destruction. Could these ancient insights reflect an intuitive grasp of temporal malleability, long before science could articulate it? By juxtaposing myth with mathematics, imagination with observation, we begin to glimpse a universe that speaks in multiple languages. One of equations and measurements, another of metaphor and allegory. Both converge on a truth that is profoundly destabilizing yet deeply compelling. Time may not be the rigid continuum we perceive, but a living, shifting dimension, capable of moving forward and backward, simultaneously revealing and concealing its secrets. The emotional weight of this possibility is immense. To imagine time running backward evokes wonder, fear, and exhilaration in equal measure. We are confronted with the fragility of perception and the limits of knowledge, yet also with the extraordinary beauty of a cosmos that transcends ordinary understanding. Rivers might reclaim their sources, stars could unburn, and civilizations might unwind like threads in a cosmic tapestry. These images are not merely poetic, they are the cinematic truth of backward counting time. They force us to consider that the universe is far more intricate, more layered, and more unpredictable than our minds can easily grasp, and they demand a profound humility in the face of existence itself. Yet, amid this complexity there is a glimmer of clarity. The study of time's reversibility offers insights into the fundamental laws that govern reality. If entropy can decrease, even under rare or extreme conditions, then the universe possesses mechanisms for local reversal of disorder. These mechanisms may illuminate not only the formation of stars and galaxies but also the conditions that allow life, consciousness, and human experience to arise. Backward counting time is not merely an abstract curiosity, it is a lens through which the architecture of reality becomes visible. It challenges us to reconcile seemingly paradoxical truths, that order can emerge from chaos, that beginnings may follow endings, and that the universe is at once deterministic and profoundly fluid. In exploring these ideas, the contrast between what is known and what is mysterious becomes a central theme. On one hand, science offers equations, experiments, and observations that hint at time's reversibility. On the other, human perception struggles to accommodate a reality so alien to everyday experience. This tension, the interplay between knowledge and mystery, drives both intellectual and emotional engagement. Viewers are invited to feel the exhilaration of discovery while grappling with the disorientation of confronting the incomprehensible. It is a cinematic experience in its purest form, the juxtaposition of clarity and uncertainty, wonder and fear, reason and imagination. The cinematic potential of backward counting time is unparalleled. Visualize scenes where cities rebuild themselves from ruins, rivers reverse their course, and the night sky unfolds in reverse, stars retracing their luminous paths. Each image evokes awe and subtle unease, capturing the essence of a universe where the arrow of time is not fixed but fluid. These mental landscapes illustrate the profound impact of temporal reversibility, not just on the cosmos but on human understanding, emphasizing that the journey through backward time is both an external exploration of reality and an internal journey of perception, imagination, and emotional resonance. By the end of this section, viewers are primed to confront deeper questions. If time can count backward, what governs its direction? How do entropy, consciousness, and cosmic evolution interact within this framework? What are the philosophical, scientific, and emotional consequences of living in a universe where past and future are entwined? The answers are not simple, and that is precisely the point. The backward counting of time challenges every assumption, expands the imagination, and invites us to consider a cosmos that is endlessly surprising, endlessly beautiful, and endlessly mysterious. As we prepare to move forward, we carry with us both awe and uncertainty, curiosity and humility. Section 8 closes with the realization that time is not merely a measurement or a line of events but a dimension as dynamic, strange, and complex as the universe itself. It is a continuum capable of bending, folding, and reversing in ways that illuminate the deepest mysteries of existence. The journey ahead promises to delve even further, exploring the consequences of backward counting time on consciousness, history, and the very structure of reality. In this exploration, science and philosophy converge, guiding us through the sublime and often disorienting landscapes of a universe that is far stranger and far more wondrous than our linear minds could ever imagine. As we venture further into the concept of backward counting time, the narrative shifts toward the consequences for the very structure of reality. If time can run backward, what happens to the events, objects, and beings that inhabit it? The ordinary world, with its familiar progression of cause and effect, seems almost fragile in comparison to the vast, fluid temporal landscape suggested by modern physics. Imagine a universe in which yesterday can be altered by the ripples of tomorrow, where a falling star might rise once again, or where civilizations leave not footprints in history, but shadows that can stretch and bend backward through the continuum of existence. It is a vision both captivating and disquieting, forcing a re-evaluation of our assumptions about permanence, change, and the flow of life itself. At the heart of this exploration lies the concept of entropy, the fundamental measure of disorder in the universe. Traditionally, entropy increases over time, driving systems from order to chaos in an irreversible march. Yet, if the flow of time can reverse in specific contexts, the implications are staggering. In localized regions, entropy could decrease, meaning order emerges spontaneously, events unravel, and structures rebuild themselves from decay. This is not mere speculation. Theoretical models of the early universe, coupled with studies of black holes and quantum systems, suggest that temporal reversals are at least possible under extreme conditions. In these moments, the universe becomes a living, breathing entity, capable of rewinding and reshaping its own structure, challenging the very foundations of physics as we understand them. The philosophical implications are equally profound. Human experience is predicated on a linear conception of time. Memory binds past to present, choice propels action toward the future, and identity is formed through continuity. But in a universe where time can reverse, memory itself becomes a fluid construct. Moments once thought immutable could be revisited, altered, or reinterpreted. Lives may unfold not as fixed narratives but as dynamic stories, influenced by currents moving backward as well as forward. This challenges our notions of free will, destiny, and moral responsibility. Every action, every decision might resonate backward, affecting events that ostensibly preceded it. The familiar boundary between cause and effect becomes porous, inviting both wonder and existential unease. Cosmology offers further evidence that time's reversibility is more than theoretical. Observations of the earliest moments after the Big Bang reveal phenomena that appear to defy conventional causality. Quantum fluctuations, minute variations in energy density, acted as seeds for galaxies, influencing the cosmic structure in ways that suggest nonlinear temporal dynamics. Could these fluctuations reflect a hidden retrograde component of time, a brief reversal that shaped the universe's earliest moments? If so, the backward counting of time is not merely an abstract hypothesis but a feature embedded in the very evolution of the cosmos. It is a reminder that the universe is far more intricate, delicate, and mysterious than our linear intuition allows, and that understanding time requires a willingness to embrace both complexity and ambiguity. The cinematic potential of these ideas is unparalleled. Imagine scenes of collapsing stars unburning, vast oceans returning to their sources, and civilizations unraveling and rebuilding simultaneously. The visual drama is matched by emotional intensity, evoking awe, fear, and exhilaration in equal measure. This is a universe that challenges perception at every turn, where familiar landmarks of reality dissolve and reform under the influence of a hidden temporal current. Such imagery does more than illustrate theory. It immerses the viewer in the experience of a reality where time itself is fluid, where the boundaries between past and future are blurred, and where the consequences of actions ripple across the continuum in unexpected and profound ways. The human psyche, confronted with such a universe, must adapt to paradox and uncertainty. Time reversal disrupts conventional narratives of life and history, requiring a mindset capable of holding multiple possibilities simultaneously. In this context, curiosity becomes as essential as knowledge, and humility becomes a necessary companion to understanding. The backward counting of time forces us to recognize that our perception of reality is limited, that our mental frameworks are only partial maps of a cosmos far more complex than we can easily grasp. It is a challenge and an invitation to explore, to question, and to imagine a universe in which every moment is both a consequence and a precursor, a beginning and an end, intertwined in a dance that defies conventional description. Ancient myths and philosophical traditions provide a parallel perspective. Across cultures, time is often depicted as cyclical, recursive, or reversible. The Ouroboros, the serpent eating its own tail, symbolizes eternal return. Eastern cosmologies speak of cycles of creation and destruction. Stoic philosophy envisions the universe as an endlessly repeating continuum. These metaphors, long regarded as symbolic, may resonate with the insights emerging from modern physics. The backward counting of time, once considered speculative or fantastical, may in fact echo deep, intuitive understandings of the cosmos encoded in human consciousness across millennia. It is a convergence of imagination and empirical science, where myth and mathematics illuminate complementary facets of the same profound truth. The emotional resonance of this realization cannot be overstated. To confront the reversibility of time is to confront uncertainty, fragility, and the sublime beauty of the cosmos simultaneously. Awe and fear mingle as we recognize the universe's capacity to transcend our ordinary understanding, to challenge the very frameworks by which we navigate existence. Every moment becomes both precious and provisional, every decision both anchored and fluid, every life a thread in an intricate, multidirectional tapestry. In such a universe, the act of observation, the flow of choice, and the structure of consciousness are intimately entwined with the underlying currents of temporal reversibility. By the conclusion of Section 9, viewers are prepared to confront even deeper questions about backward counting time. How does consciousness interact with reversible time? What are the consequences for the evolution of the universe, for history, and for the moral and philosophical foundations of human life? The answers are complex, elusive, and profoundly cinematic, demanding both intellectual rigor and imaginative vision. Section 9 closes with a sense of anticipation and tension, priming the audience to delve further into the mysteries that lie ahead, where science, philosophy, and the human experience of time converge in ways that challenge every assumption, spark awe, and ignite curiosity about the nature of existence itself. As we venture into Section 10, the discussion of backward counting time brings us face to face with one of the universe's most profound enigmas: the interplay between time and consciousness. If time can flow backward even in limited contexts, what does this mean for the human mind, for perception, and for memory itself? Consciousness, as we experience it, is deeply intertwined with the forward progression of time. Our thoughts, emotions, and decisions unfold along a linear path, anchored by the continuity of memory and anticipation. Yet in a universe where time might reverse, these anchors shift, dissolve, and reform. Imagine the unsettling, exhilarating possibility that memories are not fixed relics of the past but dynamic threads, influenced by both forward and backward currents, simultaneously shaping and being shaped by events that have yet to occur. The quantum world offers a glimpse into this strange possibility. In laboratories around the globe, physicists observe particles that appear to respond to events in the future, their states influenced by measurements not yet taken. This phenomenon, often described as retrocausality, suggests that the flow of time at the quantum level is far more fluid than the straightforward arrow we perceive. If such behaviors manifest in the smallest constituents of reality, might they scale upward, subtly shaping macroscopic events, even the processes of thought and consciousness? The mind itself could be participating in a temporally rich environment, where the distinction between cause and effect blurs, and where perception is both a product of and an influence upon the unfolding continuum of events. Consider, too, the implications for memory. Human memory is inherently reconstructive, not a fixed recording but a malleable narrative continuously reshaped by experience, emotion, and reflection. In a universe where time can reverse, memory might not merely reflect the past but actively interact with it, resonating backward as well as forward. This opens a door to an entirely new understanding of identity, suggesting that who we are is not merely a product of accumulated experiences but a dynamic interplay of temporal forces. Past, present, and future may be interwoven in a complex tapestry in which consciousness navigates multiple threads simultaneously, perceiving echoes of events that have yet to solidify into reality. The philosophical consequences of this are profound. Free will, a concept long debated by thinkers across history, becomes entwined with the fluidity of time. If actions can ripple backward, influencing the past as well as the future, then human agency operates within a far more intricate framework than previously imagined. Moral responsibility, too, becomes complex. Decisions might reverberate not only forward but backward through the timeline, creating a network of effects that challenge conventional notions of causality. In such a universe, ethical and philosophical considerations extend beyond linear reasoning, inviting a re-evaluation of choice, consequence, and the nature of existence itself. The cosmological implications reinforce this paradigm. In extreme environments such as near black holes or during the universe's earliest moments, time behaves in ways that defy everyday intuition. Theoretical models suggest that under these conditions, temporal flow can be nonlinear or even reversible, creating regions where events unfold in counterintuitive sequences. Conscious observers within such environments, whether hypothetical or real, would experience a reality in which the familiar distinction between past, present, and future dissolves. This challenges not only our understanding of physics but also the very framework of perception, revealing consciousness as an active participant in a universe governed by complex, multidirectional temporal dynamics. The cinematic imagery of this concept is vivid and compelling. Picture a human mind navigating a reality in which thoughts, memories, and decisions ripple backward, subtly reshaping events that have already occurred. Imagine entire cities or landscapes subtly reorganizing themselves in synchrony with these temporal flows, stars unburning and rivers returning to their sources, as the boundaries between observer and universe blur. This is a universe that is both awe-inspiring and disorienting, demanding a suspension of conventional assumptions and inviting viewers to experience the wonder and uncertainty of existence from a radically expanded perspective. Human history, too, could be reframed in light of backward-counting time. Events we consider fixed may be more dynamic than we imagine, influenced by unseen currents flowing in reverse. Wars, discoveries, and cultural shifts might not be isolated incidents but nodes within a broader, temporally complex network. Understanding history in this way transforms narrative from a linear account to a multidimensional exploration, where past, present, and future interact in subtle, sometimes imperceptible ways. This perspective not only enriches our appreciation of history but also deepens the mystery of time itself, inviting curiosity and wonder at the universe's hidden architecture. Emotionally, the notion of backward-counting time within consciousness evokes both exhilaration and trepidation. The potential for understanding the self and reality in entirely new ways inspires awe, while the challenge to familiar perceptions of causality and identity provokes unease. It is precisely this tension that makes the concept so compelling. The coexistence of fear and fascination mirrors the experience of exploring any profound mystery. By engaging both intellect and emotion, this exploration creates a deeply immersive experience, inviting viewers to feel as well as understand the complexity of backward-counting time. In conclusion, Section 10 situates the viewer at the intersection of physics, philosophy, and human consciousness. It illuminates the profound ways in which backward-counting time could influence perception, memory, and agency, while emphasizing the emotional resonance of grappling with such profound uncertainty. By the end of this section, the audience is prepared to explore even deeper dimensions of time's reversibility, from its influence on larger-scale cosmic structures to its philosophical and existential implications. The journey ahead promises to unravel further layers of complexity, continuing to blend cinematic imagery, scientific rigor, and philosophical inquiry into a compelling exploration of a universe in which time is far more fluid and far more mysterious than our linear intuitions suggest. As we move into Section 11, the focus shifts from individual consciousness to the broader tapestry of the universe itself. If time can reverse, even in limited pockets or extreme conditions, the consequences for cosmic evolution are profound. We are invited to imagine a universe not as a linear progression from birth to death, from the Big Bang to eventual heat death, but as a multidimensional network of events capable of bending, looping, and even rewinding. Stars, galaxies, and entire systems may experience temporal fluctuations that defy ordinary understanding. The familiar rhythm of cosmic expansion, the predictable life cycle of matter, and the assumed march toward entropy could all be punctuated by moments of reversal, creating a universe far more dynamic, unpredictable, and cinematic than previously imagined. Consider the life cycle of stars, for example. Typically, we observe them forming from clouds of gas and dust, igniting into brilliance, and eventually collapsing into remnants such as white dwarfs, neutron stars, or black holes. But what if, in certain cosmic contexts, this sequence is reversible? Imagine a collapsed star reassembling itself, its material spiraling outward to form new structures, as though the universe itself were retracing its steps. The notion is both awe-inspiring and disconcerting. The very fabric of matter, under the influence of backward-counting time, becomes flexible, capable of reshaping itself in ways that challenge the rigid certainties of classical physics. This scenario is not merely speculative. It emerges from theoretical frameworks exploring entropy, black holes, and quantum mechanics, which suggest that under extreme conditions, the universe may allow for localized reversals of time and order. Galaxies, too, may be subject to these hidden temporal currents. The formation of stars, the motion of celestial bodies, and the distribution of cosmic matter are processes long assumed to follow immutable laws. Yet in a universe where time is not strictly linear, these structures could be influenced by retrograde flows of events. A galaxy might subtly rewind, stars retracing their paths, interstellar gas returning to prior configurations, as though the cosmos were performing a slow, deliberate dance backward through its own history. The cinematic imagery is striking, vast spirals of light moving in reverse, nebulae reassembling into pristine clouds, and the cosmic web itself appearing to fold back upon itself, a reminder that reality may be far more intricate than our senses allow. This raises profound philosophical questions. If the universe can experience moments of temporal reversal, then the distinction between past, present, and future becomes blurred. Cause and effect, foundational concepts in both science and human understanding, may not be absolute. Every cosmic event, from the formation of a star to the collision of galaxies, might resonate backward as well as forward, creating a network of interdependent phenomena that challenges conventional notions of determinism. The universe, in this view, is not a rigid machine but a dynamic, responsive entity, where time itself is an active participant in shaping the flow of events. This realization demands both humility and imagination, inviting us to reconsider our place in a cosmos that is alive, fluid, and profoundly mysterious. The emotional impact of such a universe is immense. Awe, fear, wonder, all are evoked as we confront a reality that operates according to principles far beyond ordinary perception. The possibility that entire stars, planets, and civilizations could be influenced by backward-flowing time challenges not only scientific understanding but also existential assumptions. Human history, culture, and consciousness are anchored in linear time, yet the cosmos itself may operate on a rhythm that transcends these limits. To comprehend backward-counting time on a cosmic scale is to confront both the grandeur and fragility of existence, recognizing that the universe is simultaneously comprehensible and ineffably complex. Moreover, these ideas resonate with ancient mythologies and philosophical traditions. Across cultures, time has often been depicted as cyclical or reversible. The Stoics imagined an eternal recurrence. Eastern philosophies describe vast cycles of creation and destruction. Symbols such as the Ouroboros represent the infinite loop of beginnings and endings. By juxtaposing these symbolic frameworks with modern physics, we see a convergence of intuition and observation. The cosmos may indeed operate in ways that mirror these age-old insights. The backward counting of time, once relegated to myth or speculative thought, emerges as a concept with profound explanatory and imaginative power, bridging human understanding with the underlying fabric of reality. Scientific inquiry continues to push these boundaries. The study of black holes, for instance, offers glimpses into regions where conventional temporal order breaks down. Theoretical models suggest that inside a black hole, spacetime is so distorted that time itself may become bidirectional, looping, or reversible. Observing and understanding these phenomena challenges the limits of both technology and imagination, requiring tools that can probe extremes far beyond ordinary experience. Yet the pursuit is not merely technical, it is deeply human, reflecting a desire to grasp the nature of reality and our place within it. By contemplating backward-counting time on a cosmic scale, we engage with questions that are simultaneously scientific, philosophical, and existential, highlighting the profound intersection of knowledge and wonder. As Section 11 closes, viewers are invited to integrate these cosmic insights with earlier explorations of consciousness, memory, and perception. The universe is revealed as a living, dynamic entity, where backward-counting time operates alongside forward progression, creating a multidimensional temporal tapestry. Stars, galaxies, and entire cosmic structures participate in this dance, shaping and being shaped by flows that transcend linearity. The cinematic imagery, philosophical implications, and emotional resonance of this section prepare the audience for further exploration into the mysteries of existence, where science and imagination converge, and where the boundaries between past, present, and future are far more fluid than our everyday experience suggests. At the heart of this exploration lies the concept of entropy, the measure of disorder that traditionally defines the arrow of time. In our ordinary experience, entropy increases, ice melts, forests decay, stars burn out. But theoretical physics suggests that under certain extreme conditions, entropy may temporarily decrease. In these moments, order emerges spontaneously, matter reconfigures, and the universe in effect rewinds its own processes. This is not merely speculation. Models of the early universe combined with insights from quantum mechanics and general relativity indicate that localized temporal reversals may be a real feature of the cosmos. Imagine a cosmic orchestra in which sections of the score occasionally play backward, creating a harmony that is simultaneously familiar and alien, orderly and chaotic, mesmerizing and unsettling. The philosophical implications of this are staggering. If time is not strictly linear, then the nature of causality, destiny, and existence itself must be reconsidered. Events are not isolated points but interwoven threads, influencing one another across both forward and backward dimensions. A star's explosion could ripple backward to subtly affect its formation. Human actions might resonate not only into the future but retroactively, altering the past in ways imperceptible to ordinary observation. Consciousness, memory, and perception become participants in this temporal dance, sensitive to flows that are both visible and hidden. The boundaries of reality stretch, and the familiar frameworks that govern thought, morality, and understanding are challenged, forcing us to expand our perspective beyond linear assumptions. Cosmology provides compelling illustrations of these ideas. Black holes, with their immense gravitational pull, distort space and time to extremes that defy ordinary intuition. Theoretical models suggest that within these cosmic vortices, time may behave bidirectionally, curving, folding, and occasionally reversing. Similarly, the first milliseconds after the Big Bang may have been characterized by temporal anomalies, quantum fluctuations, and events that occurred in sequences counter to linear expectation. These glimpses into extreme conditions suggest that backward counting time is not just a theoretical curiosity but a principle woven into the very fabric of the cosmos, shaping matter, energy, and the evolution of galaxies in subtle, profound ways. The cinematic imagery of such a universe is breathtaking. Visualize entire galaxies unwinding, stars retracting their light, rivers of cosmic matter flowing back to their origins. The universe itself seems to breathe, inhaling and exhaling the flow of time, creating a spectacle both beautiful and disorienting. This imagery evokes awe and fear in equal measure, capturing the emotional resonance of a cosmos that defies ordinary perception. It emphasizes the dynamic nature of existence, reminding us that the world we take for granted as fixed and predictable is, at the cosmic scale, fluid, reversible, and astonishingly complex. Ancient philosophical traditions resonate with this scientific insight. The Ouroboros, the serpent devouring its tail, symbolizes cyclical time and the eternal return. Eastern cosmologies describe kalpas, vast cycles of creation and dissolution, while Stoic philosophy envisions a cosmos endlessly repeating itself. These metaphors, long considered poetic or symbolic, may echo a deeper truth about the universe's temporal structure. Science and myth converge, suggesting that backward counting time is not merely a theoretical abstraction but an intuitive insight encoded in human consciousness across millennia. The universe, in both its physical laws and symbolic representations, invites us to grasp its rhythms in ways that transcend linear thinking. Emotionally, the concept of backward counting time is both exhilarating and unsettling. Awe arises from the recognition of a universe far more intricate and dynamic than everyday experience suggests. Fear emerges from the realization that familiar notions of cause, effect, and permanence may be provisional. This duality, the tension between understanding and uncertainty, drives the narrative engagement, compelling viewers to confront the sublime complexity of existence. It is a cinematic experience as much as an intellectual one, combining visual imagination, philosophical reflection, and scientific inquiry into a tapestry that mirrors the multidimensional nature of time itself. Moreover, backward counting time challenges the human perception of history and personal experience. Life, memory, and history may not be fixed, linear records but dynamic processes influenced by flows both forward and backward. Decisions, actions, and events might ripple retroactively, reshaping outcomes and altering trajectories in subtle ways. This invites a re-evaluation of identity, morality, and agency, suggesting that existence is a participatory phenomenon, where humans and cosmos interact in a shared temporal framework. It is a perspective that unites physics, philosophy, and human consciousness, revealing the interconnectedness of all things and the profound implications of temporal reversibility. By the conclusion of Section 12, viewers are invited to integrate multiple layers of insight. Quantum phenomena, cosmic evolution, consciousness, and mythological symbolism all converge to illuminate the nature of backward-counting time. The universe is revealed as a multidimensional living continuum in which past and future are not separate but intertwined, influencing each other in ways both subtle and profound. The imagery is cinematic, the philosophy deep, and the emotional resonance powerful, preparing the audience for the next phase of exploration, the consequences of time reversal on life, civilization, and the very nature of reality itself. Section 12 closes with a sense of wonder, mystery, and anticipation, inviting viewers to continue the journey into a cosmos where time is fluid, consciousness is dynamic, and existence itself is a constantly unfolding, multidirectional narrative. At the molecular and cellular level, the implications of reverse temporal flows are profound. Biological systems rely on sequences of chemical reactions, genetic instructions, and metabolic pathways, all of which are traditionally viewed as progressing in a fixed order. But if time can partially reverse, these reactions may unfold in unexpected directions, subtly reshaping the processes of life. Imagine DNA sequences temporarily rewinding, proteins disassembling only to reassemble, or metabolic processes reversing in a controlled, localized manner. While such phenomena may occur only in extreme or hypothetical conditions, they underscore a critical insight. Life itself is not immune to the fluidity of time. These possibilities challenge our most basic assumptions about biology, evolution, and the permanence of living systems. The ecological implications are equally compelling. Ecosystems are intricate webs of interdependence, where species interact in cycles of growth, decay, and renewal. In a universe influenced by backward-counting time, these cycles may not be strictly linear. Predators might unhunt their prey, seeds could unsprout into the earth, and ecological networks may reconfigure themselves in subtle, retroactive ways. The dynamic interplay between life and environment becomes even more complex, highlighting the sensitivity of living systems to temporal flows. By contemplating these possibilities, we begin to appreciate the profound interconnectedness of life and time, recognizing that the health, stability, and evolution of ecosystems are influenced not only by forward-moving processes but by hidden currents of temporal reversibility. Cultural and historical patterns are similarly affected. Human societies are built upon the passage of time. Traditions evolve, knowledge accumulates, empires rise and collapse. Yet in a universe capable of backward-counting time, the narrative of civilization may be more fluid than we realize. Historical events could be subtly reshaped by temporal currents, influencing outcomes in ways that are difficult to perceive from a linear perspective. Imagine entire cultural movements retracing their origins, languages evolving backward, or inventions unwinding into their conceptual precursors. These ideas, while speculative, emphasize the profound interconnectedness of time, consciousness, and collective human experience, suggesting that backward flows of time are not confined to particles or stars but extend to the realm of human life and society. Philosophically, these considerations challenge the very notion of causality in life. Our moral and ethical frameworks are built upon assumptions about sequential actions and predictable consequences. But if time can reverse, even partially, the boundaries of responsibility, intention, and outcome become fluid. Actions might ripple backward as well as forward, subtly altering the context in which decisions are made and consequences unfold. This invites a re-evaluation of free will, agency, and the nature of ethical decision-making. In such a universe, understanding the full impact of one's actions requires not only foresight but an awareness of hidden temporal interconnections, challenging both our intellect and imagination. The cinematic potential of these concepts is immense. Picture a forest regenerating itself from fallen leaves, rivers retracing their courses, and human communities experiencing subtle temporal echoes of their past choices. These scenes evoke awe and wonder, emphasizing the beauty, complexity, and fragility of life in a universe where time is fluid. The visual narrative becomes a metaphor for the interplay between order and chaos, growth and reversal, creation and dissolution. By immersing the audience in this imagery, we convey the profound emotional resonance of backward-counting time, blending scientific insight with aesthetic experience to create a deeply engaging exploration of existence itself. Science offers frameworks for understanding these possibilities. The study of extremophiles, quantum biology, and nonlinear dynamic systems provides glimpses into how life can adapt to unusual temporal conditions. Observations of cellular processes under extreme stress, genetic mechanisms that repair or reverse damage, and theoretical models of time's flexibility all suggest that life is not rigidly confined to a linear trajectory. Instead, it exhibits resilience, adaptability, and potential responsiveness to temporal variations. These insights bridge the gap between speculative cosmology and tangible biological phenomena, demonstrating that backward-counting time is not purely a theoretical curiosity but a concept with potential relevance to living systems. Emotionally, contemplating life under backward-counting time evokes a mixture of wonder, reverence, and existential reflection. Awe arises from the recognition of life's intricate interconnections, fear from the unsettling challenge to familiar rhythms, and curiosity from the exploration of possibilities beyond conventional experience. This tension mirrors the broader cinematic and philosophical narrative of the documentary, combining intellectual insight with emotional engagement. It reinforces the sense that the universe in all its complexity is both comprehensible and infinitely mysterious, inviting viewers to reflect on their own place within a cosmos where life, time, and consciousness are dynamically intertwined. By the conclusion of Section 13, viewers are encouraged to integrate multiple layers of understanding: the fluidity of time, the dynamics of consciousness, and the adaptability of life. These elements converge to illuminate a universe in which backward-counting time is not merely a theoretical abstraction but a principle with profound implications for biology, ecology, and human society. The cinematic imagery, philosophical depth, and emotional resonance prepare the audience for subsequent sections, where the narrative will explore the intersection of time reversal with memory, history, and the broader structure of reality. Section 13 closes with a sense of wonder, curiosity, and anticipation, inviting viewers to continue the journey into the multidimensional, dynamic, and profoundly mysterious nature of backward-counting time. Quantum mechanics provides a glimpse into how consciousness might interact with backward-flowing time. Experiments have shown that particles can exist in multiple states until observed, and their outcomes can appear influenced by measurements taken afterward. This retrocausality suggests that time is not strictly linear, and if consciousness interacts with quantum processes, then human experience itself may be subtly entangled with the multidirectional flow of time. Memory, perception, and decision-making could be influenced by future events as much as past ones, creating a dynamic interplay between the mind and the temporal fabric of the universe. This notion challenges our conventional understanding of cognition, suggesting that thought is not merely reactive but potentially interwoven with hidden layers of temporal influence. The emotional and psychological consequences are equally profound. Human beings rely on continuity for stability, identity, and meaning. Yet in a universe where time can reverse, this continuity is destabilized. Memories may no longer be absolute. They could shift, adapt, or even erase themselves in response to backward temporal currents. Identity, usually constructed as a linear narrative of past experiences and present actions, becomes a dynamic process in which past, present, and future are intertwined. This challenges our deepest assumptions about selfhood, raising questions about free will, accountability, and the nature of personal history. The very act of remembering could become a negotiation between multiple temporal realities, where consciousness navigates a multidimensional network of cause and effect that extends in both directions. From a cinematic perspective, the imagery is both striking and unsettling. Picture a person walking through a cityscape where past interactions replay in reverse, gestures and conversations unfolding backward yet still charged with emotional resonance. Memories could physically manifest as luminous threads weaving forward and backward through the air, connecting moments across time in a visual symphony of cognition. The familiar landscape of life is transformed into a living mosaic, a dynamic interplay of moments that defy conventional understanding yet convey deep emotional truth. This visual metaphor captures the essence of backward-counting time's impact on consciousness: the fluidity of experience, the fragility of memory, and the beauty and terror of existing within a temporally rich, multidimensional universe. Ancient philosophies and spiritual traditions resonate with these ideas. Many cultures have long conceived of consciousness as transcending linear time, existing in cycles, echoes, or eternal recurrence. From the cyclical time of Hindu and Buddhist cosmologies to Stoic reflections on eternal return, human intuition has often perceived a multidirectional temporal dimension. The insights of modern physics, with its implications for retrocausality and temporal reversibility, may be echoing these ancient intuitions. Consciousness, memory, and identity may indeed operate within a temporal landscape far richer than linear experience suggests, bridging the gap between human understanding, myth, and scientific observation. The implications for personal experience are staggering. Relationships, achievements, and life events could be subtly influenced by future outcomes as well as past actions. Decisions might resonate backward, shaping the context of earlier events in ways imperceptible to ordinary awareness. This reconceptualization challenges conventional notions of responsibility, causality, and ethical behavior. To navigate such a universe, human cognition would require not only memory and foresight but an intuitive grasp of multidirectional temporal flows. In this light, backward counting time is not an abstract curiosity but a force with the potential to reshape perception, decision-making, and even the very sense of self. Biologically, the brain's ability to adapt and reorganize itself, its neuroplasticity, may suggest mechanisms through which consciousness could interact with multidirectional time. Memories are not static. They are constantly reconstructed, reinterpreted, and integrated into ongoing experience. If temporal flows are reversible or multidimensional, these processes could extend beyond ordinary linear reconstruction, allowing the mind to integrate experiences influenced by events both forward and backward in time. The brain becomes not just a passive recorder but an active participant in the temporal structure of reality, weaving together threads of cause, effect, and resonance across multiple directions. By the end of Section 14, the audience is invited to reflect on the profound implications of backward counting time for their own experience. Memory, perception, and consciousness are no longer merely linear constructs. They are dynamic processes that participate in a universe capable of bending and reversing temporal flow. The interplay of science, philosophy, and cinematic imagery creates an immersive experience, allowing viewers to feel the emotional and intellectual weight of existing in a temporally fluid reality. Awe, curiosity, and a subtle existential unease converge, priming the audience for subsequent sections that will explore the broader consequences for civilization, history, and the nature of reality itself. Section 14 concludes with a sense of profound anticipation. The human mind, as a participant in a multidimensional temporal framework, is revealed to be deeply entangled with the universe's flow. The cinematic, emotional, and intellectual journey underscores the richness of backward counting time, setting the stage for a climax in which science, philosophy, consciousness, and the cosmos converge to illuminate the mysteries of existence. Viewers are left with both wonder and tension, poised to explore the final layers of the documentary's exploration into time, life, and reality, where the boundaries between past, present, and future dissolve into a multidimensional dance of possibility. At the cosmic scale, backward counting time offers a radical reinterpretation of entropy, causality, and the evolution of matter. Traditionally, the universe is perceived as progressing inexorably toward disorder, with energy dispersing and structures decaying. Yet if time can reverse or fluctuate locally, these assumptions are destabilized. Regions of the cosmos could experience spontaneous restoration, stars may reassemble, and galactic structures could be subtly rewound, creating patterns that defy conventional expectation. The Big Bang itself, often portrayed as a singular, one-directional event, may be understood in a new light, a node within a multidirectional temporal network, where creation and consequence influence each other across both forward and backward dimensions. The universe, in this view, is not merely a linear sequence of events but a multidimensional symphony, with hidden harmonies reverberating across the temporal fabric. Consciousness, as explored in previous sections, is intimately entwined with this dynamic temporal structure. Human perception, memory, and decision-making are not passive reflections of linear time. They are active participants in a universe capable of backward flows. Imagine a mind capable of intuitively sensing these currents, interpreting experiences not only in terms of what has occurred but in relation to what may yet influence the past. Memories could resonate with future outcomes, decisions might reverberate backward, and identity itself becomes a fluid, multidimensional construct. The cinematic imagery is striking, luminous threads representing moments of consciousness weaving forward and backward through a temporal tapestry, connecting individual experience with the broader cosmic flow. This visualization captures the profound interplay between mind and universe, emphasizing that backward counting time is as much an experiential phenomenon as a scientific principle. Philosophically, these insights challenge the most fundamental assumptions about existence. Linear causality, the foundation of much of human reasoning, becomes provisional. Ethics, responsibility, and free will are reframed within a context where actions ripple across both directions of time. Historical events, cultural evolution, and personal experience are no longer fixed sequences but dynamic, interdependent processes, sensitive to both forward and retroactive influences. In this universe, understanding reality requires a willingness to embrace paradox, to hold multiple possibilities simultaneously, and to recognize that perception, cognition, and existence are inseparable from the multidimensional nature of time itself. The implications extend to life and civilization on Earth. Biological systems, ecological networks, and human societies are all sensitive to temporal dynamics. Cells, organisms, and ecosystems may experience subtle temporal reversals, shaping evolution and adaptation in ways that challenge conventional understanding. Human history, culture, and personal experience may similarly be influenced by backward flows, creating a complex interplay of cause, effect, and resonance that defies simple linear interpretation. This perspective invites both humility and wonder, suggesting that our understanding of life and society is provisional, contingent upon a temporal framework far richer and more intricate than previously imagined. The cinematic potential of this section is unparalleled. Visualize entire galaxies unfolding backward, rivers reversing their course, and cities subtly reweaving themselves through the interplay of past and future. Human memories could manifest as visible threads, connecting moments across time in luminous arcs. Stars, planets, and civilizations participate in a grand, multidirectional choreography, creating scenes of staggering beauty and sublime complexity. These images are not merely illustrative. They evoke the emotional and intellectual experience of existing in a universe where backward counting time is a tangible reality, where the familiar certainties of linear progression dissolve into awe-inspiring mystery. Emotionally, Section 15 brings the viewer to the culmination of a journey through wonder, fear, and intellectual curiosity. The awe of cosmic scale, the subtle terror of uncertainty, and the exhilaration of philosophical insight converge, producing a sense of immersion both cinematic and contemplative. The audience is invited to reflect on their own place within this dynamic universe, recognizing that consciousness, life, and civilization are entwined with temporal flows that transcend linear understanding. This realization fosters a profound sense of connection, curiosity, and humility, encouraging viewers to appreciate the beauty and complexity of a universe in which time is fluid, reality is multidimensional, and existence itself is a dynamic, participatory process. By the conclusion of Section 15, the narrative threads of the documentary converge. The cosmos, consciousness, life, and civilization are all interwoven within the multidirectional fabric of backward counting time. Scientific insight, philosophical reflection, and cinematic visualization combine to create a holistic understanding. Time is not merely a measurement or a linear progression but a living dimension, capable of shaping and being shaped by the universe and its inhabitants. The section leaves viewers with a sense of awe, wonder, and intellectual engagement, ready to contemplate the profound mysteries that remain and the implications for understanding the cosmos, existence, and their own place within it. Finally, Section 15 closes with an invitation to wonder, ponder, and reflect. The journey through backward counting time has revealed a universe far more intricate, fluid, and interconnected than linear intuition allows. Viewers are encouraged to embrace both the beauty and uncertainty of existence, to recognize that consciousness, life, and cosmic evolution are all participants in a multidirectional temporal dance. The cinematic, philosophical, and emotional experience culminates in a powerful conclusion. Backward counting time is not merely a theoretical concept but a lens through which the universe and our place within it can be perceived in profoundly new and transformative ways. The journey ends not with closure but with curiosity, leaving the mind open to the endless possibilities of a universe where time, existence, and consciousness intertwine in a sublime, multidimensional symphony. On the cosmic scale, this section considers how civilizations might interact with regions of the universe where backward counting time is pronounced. Stars, planets, and cosmic events could, in theory, influence the trajectory of intelligent life, not merely in a chronological sequence but in a complex temporal network that spans both forward and backward directions. Technological civilizations might unknowingly participate in these currents, their decisions shaped by subtle temporal feedback from events that have yet to occur. The philosophical consequences are profound. Free will, often understood as the ability to choose among a set of options within a linear framework, may operate differently in a universe where outcomes are not strictly determined by the past. In this multidimensional context, Choice becomes a negotiation with both history and the future, emphasizing the dynamic interplay between agency and temporality. The cinematic potential of this concept is immense. Imagine aerial shots of cities subtly rewinding or accelerating as the effects of temporal reversals ripple through human systems. Cultural rituals, technological innovations, and political events might appear in slow-motion sequences, interlaced with brief flashes of potential futures folding back into the present. Individuals are caught in a complex temporal choreography, their actions resonating across multiple directions of time, creating a visual tapestry that conveys both awe and unease. The imagery emphasizes the fragility and resilience of human civilization, highlighting the delicate balance between entropy, order, and temporal dynamics. Viewers are invited to perceive civilization as not merely a sequence of events but as an evolving organism, sensitive to the multidirectional flows of time. From a philosophical standpoint, backward counting time challenges foundational assumptions about morality, responsibility, and social evolution. Actions are no longer strictly anchored in the past. Their consequences may ripple backward, affecting the context in which they were originally made. This reconceptualization calls into question conventional understandings of justice, accountability, and ethical responsibility, suggesting that human societies operate within a far more complex causal framework than previously recognized. History itself becomes a living, malleable narrative, and the events that shape culture, politics, and societal norms are influenced not only by the past but by retroactive currents from the future. In this sense, backward counting time transforms civilization into a multidimensional experiment, where the interplay of action and consequence is richer, more intricate, and far less predictable than linear intuition allows. The biological and technological dimensions of civilization are similarly affected. Human populations, ecosystems, and technological networks may experience subtle feedback from temporal reversals, shaping adaptation and evolution in unexpected ways. Imagine an agricultural system that seems to correct itself, a society where inventions are anticipated before they are created, or an ecosystem subtly rewinding disruptions to restore balance. The dynamics of backward counting time provide a framework for understanding resilience and adaptability on both individual and societal scales. Civilization, in this view, is not merely reacting to historical pressures but is engaged in an ongoing dialogue with temporal currents that transcend conventional sequencing. Emotionally, the implications of backward counting time for civilization evoke both hope and apprehension. Awe arises from the realization that human potential is intertwined with cosmic forces, that decisions and actions resonate across a temporal landscape far richer than ordinary perception suggests. Fear and unease emerge from the loss of certainty, the challenge to conventional narratives of progress, and the realization that outcomes are not fixed but fluid. This tension between possibility and unpredictability mirrors the larger narrative of the documentary, blending intellectual inquiry with emotional engagement. Viewers are invited to inhabit the perspective of a civilization navigating multidimensional time, experiencing both the exhilaration and vulnerability inherent in such a universe. Science continues to illuminate these concepts. Theoretical models of temporal loops, retrocausality, and nonlinear dynamics suggest mechanisms by which civilizations might interact with backward counting time. These models are supported by observations of quantum systems, extreme astrophysical environments, and mathematical frameworks describing entropy and temporal flow. While much remains speculative, these insights provide a rigorous foundation for exploring the consequences of backward counting time at the scale of societies and civilizations. The synthesis of scientific observation, theoretical modeling, and philosophical reflection allows the audience to grasp the tangible implications of multidirectional temporality for the collective human experience. By the end of Section 16, viewers are invited to reflect on the interconnectedness of destiny, civilization, and temporal dynamics. The narrative threads of individual consciousness, cosmic evolution, and societal development converge, illustrating that backward counting time is not merely an abstract phenomenon but a principle with profound implications across scales. Civilization is portrayed as both participant and observer within a multidimensional temporal framework, shaped by forces that extend forward and backward, inviting awe, wonder, and deep contemplation. The audience is prepared to integrate these insights into a broader understanding of reality, where time, consciousness, life, and human society are dynamically interwoven in a complex, multidirectional web of cause, effect, and resonance. Section 16 closes with a sense of anticipation and reflection. Viewers are encouraged to consider how the currents of backward counting time might influence not only civilization at large but their own personal lives, memories, and decisions. The cinematic, philosophical, and emotional dimensions of the section converge to create an immersive experience, emphasizing the profound interconnectedness of existence. The universe, consciousness, and civilization are revealed as interdependent participants in a multidirectional temporal network, leaving the audience poised to explore the final layers of the documentary. The ultimate synthesis of science, philosophy, and human experience in a universe where time flows not only forward but backward, shaping reality in ways that challenge imagination and expand understanding. The implications for human creativity are staggering. Artists, scientists, and thinkers may unknowingly participate in temporal loops, producing works and ideas that are subtly influenced by events yet to occur. A painting could evoke a vision that had not yet existed in the world. A scientific hypothesis might anticipate findings that are only formalized later, and music could resonate with harmonies that have not yet been heard. The boundaries between cause and effect, inspiration and realization, become fluid, revealing a dynamic interplay in which the creative mind navigates both forward and backward streams of influence. The cinematic imagery here is compelling. Visions of artists' hands painting in reverse, notes rising back into instruments before being struck, or scientists observing phenomena that ripple backward into their own formulations. These scenes convey both wonder and disorientation, emphasizing the multidimensional richness of creativity in a universe with backward counting time. From a scientific perspective, backward-flowing temporal currents may have subtle influences on cognition and problem-solving. Quantum processes, which exhibit retrocausality, suggest that information can influence events in ways that transcend linear sequencing. Human cognition, inherently sensitive to patterns, probabilities, and intuition, could be attuned to these subtle temporal dynamics, integrating insights from future events into present decisions and discoveries. Memory, imagination, and reasoning are therefore not strictly linear processes but potentially multidirectional interactions with the flow of time. The mind becomes a temporal navigator, capable of perceiving echoes of knowledge, ideas, and possibilities that have not yet crystallized in the conventional chronological order. Philosophically, this perspective challenges fundamental assumptions about originality, authorship, and the nature of understanding. If ideas can reverberate backward, inspiring their own emergence, then the conventional distinction between cause and effect in the domain of thought becomes provisional. Creativity is revealed as a co-creation with time itself, where the mind is both recipient and contributor within a dynamic temporal network. The implications extend to education, research, and cultural evolution. Learning is no longer merely a retrospective accumulation but an interactive engagement with a temporally rich environment. Knowledge and insight are dynamic, emergent properties of a system in which past, present, and future are intertwined. The societal consequences of backward counting time in the context of knowledge and creativity are profound. Scientific breakthroughs, artistic movements, and technological innovations may be subtly interconnected in multidirectional networks, creating feedback loops that shape the trajectory of civilizations. Imagine a society in which ideas flow backward as well as forward, where cultural memory and innovation are influenced by temporal currents that defy linear logic. History, literature, and the arts may reflect not only accumulated past experience but also anticipatory resonances from future developments. This perspective emphasizes the complexity, beauty, and fragility of human civilization, highlighting the delicate interplay between individual cognition, collective knowledge, and temporal dynamics. Emotionally, Section 17 evokes awe, curiosity, and wonder. The mind is portrayed as a participant in a cosmic dialogue, navigating currents of inspiration, discovery, and creativity that extend across temporal dimensions. There is both exhilaration and subtle disorientation, as the familiar boundaries of cause, effect, and chronology are challenged. Viewers are invited to inhabit a perspective in which the human capacity for imagination and knowledge is not merely a product of linear experience but a multidimensional process entwined with the structure of time itself. The narrative engages intellect and emotion simultaneously, emphasizing both the beauty and the profound mystery of existing in a universe where backward counting time influences the emergence of ideas and understanding. Cinematic visualization enhances this exploration. Imagine streams of light representing knowledge and insight flowing in both directions, interweaving across laboratories, studios, and classrooms. Scientists and artists are shown interacting with these luminous currents, their discoveries and creations forming loops of inspiration that ripple backward into the past while propelling forward into the future. The imagery conveys the dynamism of cognition, illustrating the intimate connection between creativity, learning, and the multidimensional flow of time. This approach emphasizes both the intellectual and emotional dimensions of backward-counting time, allowing viewers to perceive and feel the profound implications for human understanding. By the end of Section 17, the audience is invited to integrate multiple threads. Consciousness, memory, creativity, and civilization are all revealed as participants in a temporally rich, multidirectional environment. Knowledge and ideas are not linear constructs but emergent phenomena influenced by both forward and backward currents, bridging the realms of human cognition and cosmic structure. The narrative emphasizes the elegance, complexity, and interconnectedness of existence, showing how backward-counting time shapes not only the universe but the evolution of thought, culture, and innovation. Section 17 closes with a sense of wonder, reflection, and intellectual curiosity. The audience is encouraged to imagine themselves as active participants in this multidimensional temporal network, where ideas, discoveries, and inspirations are intertwined with the flow of time itself. The cinematic, philosophical, and emotional dimensions converge, leaving viewers poised to explore the final sections of the documentary, where the synthesis of backward-counting time, consciousness, civilization, and the cosmos will culminate in a profound exploration of the ultimate mysteries of existence. The stage is set for the grand conclusion, a vision of reality in which past, present, and future are interwoven into a dynamic, multidimensional dance of knowledge, life, and cosmic evolution. At the cosmic level, backward-counting time transforms the understanding of entropy, causality, and universal evolution. Regions of the universe may spontaneously experience reversals, where stars reassemble, matter reorganizes, and energy flows backward to restore order in isolated pockets. The Big Bang, once perceived as the singular beginning of linear time, is now seen as one node within a vast multidirectional temporal network, where creation and consequence influence each other across both directions. Galaxies swirl in sequences that defy conventional chronology, supernovae unfold in reverse, and the very fabric of spacetime appears as a living, breathing entity. The viewer is invited to perceive the universe not as a predictable machine but as a dynamic, evolving organism, capable of flexibility, adaptation, and surprises that transcend ordinary understanding. Consciousness and human perception are deeply entwined with this multidirectional flow. Memory, identity, and decision-making are no longer linear processes but interactive phenomena influenced by past and future events. Imagine moments of insight emerging before the experience that inspires them, memories subtly reshaping themselves, and decisions reverberating across temporal dimensions to influence events already past. The mind becomes a participant in the cosmos itself, sensitive to hidden temporal currents that guide cognition, creativity, and emotion. This notion challenges conventional ideas of free will, agency, and personal responsibility, suggesting that human experience is far richer and more interconnected than linear perception allows. The cinematic imagery captures this vividly. Luminous threads representing consciousness weave through the temporal web, connecting individual experience to the broader flow of cosmic and societal events. At the level of life and civilization, backward-counting time reshapes evolution, adaptation, and culture. Biological systems, from the smallest cells to entire ecosystems, may respond to temporal reversals, influencing growth, regeneration, and resilience. Human societies, guided by memory, innovation, and collective decision-making, may similarly participate in multidirectional temporal networks. Historical events, technological breakthroughs, and cultural shifts may subtly ripple backward as well as forward, creating a dynamic, interconnected system that defies linear expectation. Civilization is no longer a simple narrative of progress and decay but a complex, evolving organism that participates in the multidimensional flow of time. The audience is invited to perceive the delicate interdependence of human life and cosmic forces, appreciating the beauty and fragility of existence in this temporally rich universe. Philosophically, Section 18 draws together themes of awe, uncertainty, and interconnectedness. Causality, destiny, morality, and creativity are revealed as fluid phenomena, entangled within a vast multidirectional temporal network. Past, present, and future are no longer separate. They coexist, interact, and influence each other in subtle and profound ways. Human consciousness, civilization, and the cosmos itself are participants in this network, co-creating reality through the interplay of forward and backward currents. The narrative emphasizes the elegance, complexity, and mystery of existence, inviting viewers to contemplate not only the structure of the universe but their own role within it. The philosophical resonance is deep, offering insights that blend scientific rigor, spiritual reflection, and cinematic imagination into a cohesive vision of reality. Cinematic visualization is key to conveying these ideas. Picture entire civilizations rewinding and advancing simultaneously, forests regrowing from decay, rivers flowing both forward and backward, and human consciousness manifesting as radiant threads that weave through space and time. Galaxies shimmer with multidirectional energy, stars pulse in rhythms that defy linear sequence, and the entire universe seems to breathe, expand, and contract in a dynamic temporal dance. This imagery evokes emotional responses of awe, wonder, and subtle disorientation, drawing the viewer into an immersive experience that mirrors the intellectual insights of the documentary. The combination of visual spectacle, scientific explanation, and philosophical reflection ensures that the audience remains engaged, emotionally invested, and intellectually stimulated until the very end. Emotionally, Section 18 brings the narrative to a culmination, blending exhilaration, contemplation, and humility. Awe arises from the recognition of the universe's vast complexity, fear from the unsettling challenge to conventional understanding, and wonder from the beauty and interconnectedness of existence. The section emphasizes both the power and fragility of life, the creativity and adaptability of human civilization, and the dynamic interplay of consciousness with the multidirectional flow of time. Viewers are invited to feel both their smallness within the cosmos and their profound participation in its unfolding, creating an emotional resonance that complements the intellectual and cinematic dimensions of the documentary. Finally, Section 18 closes with a synthesis that leaves the audience with a sense of curiosity, reflection, and inspiration. Backward counting time is revealed not as a mere theoretical concept but as a fundamental lens through which the universe, life, and consciousness can be perceived. Past, present, and future are no longer rigidly separate but are interwoven in a living, dynamic tapestry that shapes reality in ways both visible and hidden. The viewer is left with the understanding that existence is a multidimensional, participatory phenomenon, where human life, civilization, and consciousness are inseparably entangled with the flow of time itself. The journey ends with both wonder and contemplation, inviting viewers to carry the insights of backward counting time into their understanding of reality, perception, and the infinite possibilities of existence. At the quantum level, backward counting time provides a lens through which the fundamental nature of matter and energy can be reconsidered. Quantum particles already demonstrate behaviors that challenge linear causality. Superposition, entanglement, and retrocausality suggest that events are influenced not only by prior conditions but also by outcomes that have yet to occur. In this context, reality is a probabilistic tapestry, a web of possibilities constantly reshaping itself through the multidirectional flow of time. The human mind, sensitive to patterns and intuitions, may perceive subtle echoes of this complexity, allowing consciousness to interact with and navigate temporal layers in ways previously unimaginable. Reality, therefore, is not merely observed. It is actively co-created through the interplay of perception, action, and multidimensional temporal currents. The philosophical implications of such a universe are staggering. If reality itself is fluid and multidimensional, concepts like truth, causality, and knowledge must be reconsidered. The past is not immutable, the future is not predetermined. Instead, both past and future exist as dynamic, interdependent processes that continuously influence one another. Human perception, morality, and understanding are situated within this temporal network, participating in a reality that is more intricate, adaptive, and profoundly interconnected than conventional models allow. The distinction between observer and observed becomes porous. Consciousness is not a passive witness but an active participant in shaping the very structure of reality. This challenges long-standing assumptions in philosophy, science, and spirituality, bridging the gap between empirical observation and metaphysical inquiry. Cinematic visualization brings these concepts to life. Imagine a universe in which cities, ecosystems, and even human experiences are layered across overlapping temporal dimensions. Rivers flow both forward and backward, trees regrow from decay, and entire civilizations simultaneously advance and rewind, their histories shimmering as luminous threads connecting moments across time. Consciousness appears as radiant, flowing networks, interacting with these threads and influencing the unfolding of events. The visual experience is both mesmerizing and disorienting, capturing the paradoxical beauty of a reality where time is not a straight line but a living, multidimensional entity. This imagery reinforces the documentary's central thesis. Backward counting time reshapes existence itself, creating a universe of wonder, complexity, and interconnection. At the human level, Section 19 explores how this understanding of reality influences perception, memory, and identity. If the temporal framework of existence is fluid, then human experiences, choices, and relationships are entangled with multidirectional currents. Memories are not fixed. They may resonate with future events and unfold differently as temporal feedback loops influence the mind. Decisions ripple backward as well as forward, creating a participatory reality where agency, responsibility, and consciousness are inseparable from the multidimensional structure of time. Identity itself becomes a dynamic, evolving process, shaped by an interplay of past, present, and future influences. The emotional resonance of this realization is profound. Awe, humility, and curiosity converge, inviting reflection on the nature of existence, self, and the cosmos. The societal and cultural implications are equally profound. Civilizations, shaped by history, innovation, and collective memory, are participants in multidirectional temporal networks. Knowledge, art, science, and culture may be subtly influenced by feedback from the future, creating patterns of development and evolution that defy linear explanation. Historical events may resonate backward, influencing preceding circumstances, while collective memory becomes a living, adaptive phenomenon, sensitive to temporal dynamics that extend beyond immediate perception. This perspective reshapes how we understand progress, civilization, and the human condition, emphasizing the interconnectedness of societies with both cosmic and temporal processes. Emotionally, Section 19 evokes a mixture of wonder, reflection, and existential contemplation. The audience is invited to confront the complexity of a universe in which reality itself is a fluid, multidimensional phenomenon. Awe arises from the scale, intricacy, and beauty of existence. Curiosity is sparked by the paradoxical interplay of past, present, and future. A subtle unease emerges from the recognition that reality is neither fixed nor predictable. These emotional dimensions are intertwined with the cinematic narrative, creating a rich, immersive experience that engages both intellect and imagination. The viewer is encouraged to embrace uncertainty and marvel at the profound elegance of a reality shaped by backward-counting time. Section 19 also explores potential practical implications for human experience and understanding. Scientific discovery, creative innovation, and personal growth are framed within a multidirectional temporal context, suggesting that insights and solutions may emerge from nonlinear patterns of thought and perception. The mind is depicted as a temporal navigator, capable of sensing hidden currents, integrating information from multiple dimensions, and interacting with the unfolding reality in subtle, participatory ways. This approach encourages a holistic perspective, where scientific, philosophical, and experiential knowledge converge to deepen understanding and expand the possibilities of human engagement with the cosmos. By the conclusion of Section 19, viewers are invited to synthesize the ideas presented throughout the documentary. Backward-counting time is revealed not merely as a scientific curiosity but as a transformative lens through which to view consciousness, life, civilization, and the universe itself. Reality is a living, multidimensional network of interactions, shaped by temporal flows that extend in both directions. Consciousness, memory, culture, and cosmic evolution are all interconnected within this framework, emphasizing the profound interdependence of all aspects of existence. The narrative leaves the audience with a heightened sense of awe, curiosity, and philosophical reflection, encouraging contemplation of the infinite complexity and beauty of the universe. Section 19 closes with a sense of culmination and anticipation. The audience is left to imagine a reality where every moment, from the birth of stars to the fleeting experiences of human life, is part of a dynamic, participatory temporal dance. Past, present, and future are interwoven, consciousness and reality are inseparable, and existence itself is revealed as an intricate, living tapestry shaped by multidirectional flows of time. The cinematic, philosophical, and emotional dimensions converge, providing a powerful finale that leaves viewers both inspired and reflective, poised to carry the insights of backward-counting time into their understanding of the universe, themselves, and the endless possibilities of existence. The section opens by revisiting the core principle of backward-counting time, that the flow of moments is not strictly linear but multidirectional, capable of influencing both past and future. This understanding reframes everything the audience has observed, from the behavior of particles and quantum phenomena to the evolution of life, consciousness, and civilization. Imagine stars forming and collapsing in rhythmic cycles that ripple backward through space, human memories dynamically reweaving themselves in response to temporal feedback, and civilizations subtly adapting not only to past experiences but to emergent future conditions. The universe in this depiction is both self-organizing and participatory, where matter, energy, consciousness, and culture coalesce in a multidimensional temporal dance that transcends conventional understanding. This sets the stage for a powerful reflection on the interdependence of all phenomena. Cinematically, Section 20 emphasizes scale, beauty, and emotional resonance. Audiences are guided through sweeping visuals of the cosmos intertwined with intimate scenes of human experience. A child's memory glowing as a luminous thread connecting generations, a city pulsating with waves of temporal energy, and ecosystems subtly reorganizing themselves through backward and forward flows of time. These images reinforce the idea that the universe is not a static backdrop but a living, responsive system, where every element, from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy, is entangled in multidimensional temporal currents. The emotional effect is profound. Viewers experience awe at the vastness, wonder at the complexity, and curiosity about their own place within this intricate web of time and existence. At the philosophical level, Section 20 synthesizes key insights about consciousness, free will, morality, and human understanding. The fluidity of time challenges conventional assumptions about causality, responsibility, and destiny. Actions resonate backward as well as forward, and human decisions participate in shaping both present and past circumstances. Knowledge, creativity, and innovation emerge within multidirectional temporal networks, where inspiration may precede experience and insight may ripple across multiple temporal dimensions. The philosophical message is both humbling and empowering. Existence is richer, more interconnected, and more dynamic than linear perception allows, and humanity is an active participant in a universe that continuously co-creates itself through the interplay of consciousness and time. The implications for life and civilization are equally transformative. Biological systems, ecosystems, and societies are portrayed as resilient, adaptive, and responsive to multidirectional temporal currents. Evolution is reframed as a dialogue with time itself, where species, ecosystems, and cultures respond to both past conditions and subtle signals from the future. Human civilization, in this view, is not merely shaped by historical events but participates actively in a multidimensional temporal network that influences innovation, culture, and collective knowledge. This perspective encourages viewers to reimagine the trajectory of human progress, recognizing the interplay of science, philosophy, and consciousness in shaping the future while remaining connected to the lessons of the past. Emotionally, Section 20 is designed to provide both closure and reflection. Awe arises from the recognition of the vast, interconnected nature of existence, wonder from the beauty and complexity of temporal dynamics, and humility from the realization that humans are both participants and observers within this multidimensional network. Curiosity is sparked, leaving viewers eager to explore further, contemplate the implications, and integrate the insights into their own understanding of life, time, and the universe. The narrative emphasizes the balance of emotion and intellect, providing an immersive experience that is both thought-provoking and deeply moving. Cinematic visualization is central to reinforcing these ideas. Imagine the universe as a luminous tapestry with stars, planets, and galaxies connected by radiant threads of time flowing in both directions. Human memories and experiences shimmer like threads of light, weaving through cities, forests, and oceans, illustrating the profound interconnectedness of consciousness and reality. Civilizations appear as glowing networks that respond dynamically to temporal currents, while biological and ecological systems demonstrate resilience and adaptability in response to multidirectional time. This visual synthesis captures the grandeur, complexity, and beauty of backward-counting time, leaving the audience with a lasting impression of wonder and intellectual engagement. By the conclusion of Section 20, the audience is invited to reflect on the transformative message of the documentary. Time is not linear, reality is not fixed, and consciousness is an active participant in shaping the universe. Past, present, and future are dynamically interconnected, and human life, civilization, and cosmic evolution are all entwined within a multidimensional temporal network. The narrative encourages viewers to embrace uncertainty, marvel at the elegance of existence, and recognize their role in co-creating reality through their actions, awareness, and understanding of time. This final section consolidates the scientific, philosophical, and emotional threads of the documentary into a powerful, cohesive vision. Section 20 closes with a cinematic, contemplative moment. The camera sweeps across galaxies, forests, cities, and human experiences, uniting all layers of existence into a unified, multidirectional tapestry of time. The visual, philosophical, and emotional synthesis leaves viewers inspired, reflective, and profoundly moved, encouraging ongoing curiosity, exploration, and appreciation for the intricacies of the universe. The journey through backward counting time concludes not with finality but with an invitation to wonder, think deeply, and perceive existence in a new, multidimensional light. Time, consciousness, life, and the cosmos are revealed as inseparable, dynamically co-creating reality in a sublime, endlessly fascinating dance.